Hi everyone, so we wanted to do a video and just share our experience of having reservations for Disney World during the hurricane.
Now, our experience came because Hurricane Dorian was coming to Florida, and we sympathize with everybody that's going to be affected by this. Hope that everybody's going to be okay. We just want to share our travel plans and how we're going to change.
Yeah, so what we experienced is we had booked a Disney World trip, group trip actually. There's 5 of us going in total, and we had done this months ago. So we had booked a Canadian ticket deal, we had room discount, so everything was great pricing for us. We booked our flight separately, so we booked directly with Walt Disney World, and we hadn't used a travel agent, and we booked with WestJet as our flight, and we did that separately. So we had actually gotten we had enough time to get all the fast passes we wanted.
We were the 60 days out. We got up early the first day of the 60 days, and we were able to get all the good fast passes, flight of passage. We were able to get all of our good quick service dining, and we had the table service as well.
Yep. So we've been watching the videos for a while. We saw Be Our Guest was the great quick service. We had that booked. We wanted to go to the boathouse. We had that booked as a table service. We had managed to get California Grill
at a late time so that we could see the fireworks right at dinner time. Not that we had to come back later and go back to California Grill to see them.
So we had everything planned, right down to everything, when we were going here, when we were going there, and then we heard about the hurricane that started developing, I guess.
Right. We first started hearing about it about a week out. That's when we got, actually it wasn't quite a week. It was probably about 4 days out when it turned from a tropical storm to a hurricane status.
And this is our first time ever booking during hurricane season. We wanted to go. We also had tickets to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. And we were planning on doing the Epcot Food and Wine Show. So that's why we booked during this time, even knowing there was a risk. So
now, to let you know how far back we booked before they even initially told us about Galaxy's Edge release date. So this, everything was already planned by that point. So we were even a little nervous about crowds and everything like that before hearing Galaxy Edge was going to be launched just 3 days before we were going to arrive.
Yeah, that's right. So then once we've heard that the tropical storm was developing into a hurricane, we've been monitoring it. Like every day we'd be checking and seeing what's going on. And then all of a sudden, I think it was the governor of Florida announced it was, we heard it was developing from a category 1 to maybe a 2.
Right.
And I think it was at that point we thought we better phone Disney. So that was Wednesday, and we were supposed to leave Saturday.
So then after all the warnings and everything, it was the Wednesday afternoon when we started talking with our group, and do you want to stay and see if it's going to be closed for a day or two? Do you want to try to make changes? So everybody agreed that it was time to make changes, and we tried to book it for the week after. So the first step would be called Disney, because that's the most expensive part of the vacation. See what they were going to do.
Yeah, we weren't sure where to start. Do we start with the flight? Do we start with Disney? So we ended up starting with Disney, and so you phoned, and you were on hold for 2.5 hours.
I phoned, and the message came on that there's at least a 2-hour wait in the queue before we could talk to somebody. And that was the Wednesday night. So this was after, at that point, it was a category 2, possibly a category 3. And at that point, there was travel advisories for the Sunday and the Monday, I believe.
With our
WestJet.
Yeah, with WestJet.
So we thought that, okay, it's starting to develop, it's starting to get closer. At this point, the Hurricane Dorian was over Puerto Rico. Just missing Puerto Rico or hitting it.
Sorry, dogs. So then the next step was we called. So while you were phoning Walt Disney World, I also checked with WestJet, and their policy was until they announced a travel advisory, they were not willing to make any changes. So we did have on our flight book that we could make changes, but there would be a fee. So we were looking at, and depending on how your flight would be, we were looking at $200 per person for changes for each way, and plus any difference between the flight of what we paid versus what the new flight would be. So we knew that was the case at the moment, so we held off on that, and then we finally got through to
Walt Disney World, and they said that they understand the situation, obviously, that they were having an influx of calls, and then they said that we could rebook. They didn't mention at that time that there was a fee or anything, and there is no fee for us, thankfully.
Yeah.
But sometimes there is fees. But at that time, they were telling us that this room is available, available per person. So we were looking at our options. When we made a decision, I would say maybe 5 to 10 minutes into the conversation, the first one that she offered us was no longer available.
That was the one we were trying to replace what we had almost exactly to what we could get.
Right. So what she did tell us initially was that with our Canadian tickets and discount rooms and everything that we have for that, that those plans are no longer available. So we couldn't get exactly what we got before. So she was trying to find us the next best comparable. So at this time they had a free dining plan included, but it would be full room price, full ticket prices.
Yeah. We had Art of Animation booked, so we were staying in a value resort. At that point, there wasn't any more value resorts for that plan. That would have been the next best deal that we could have gotten. So they had a moderate Coronado that would have been actually the same price with the free dining as what we had paid.
But it would have been quick service dining instead of the table service dining. That was the only difference with that one.
And we were about to jump on that, and it was gone. So things were just disappearing really quickly at that point. So we just made a quick decision then when she mentioned about Caribbean Beach, and we said, yeah, we'll go with that. So we are paying more for that one now for less than what we got before.
Yeah, initially we were able to get rooms and plans at the Art of Animation with the table service dining, tickets with that base tickets without park hopper.
Yeah.
And the price for that was just under $2,800
for two people. We had five, but if you're just going by two people, like splitting it, that's what it would have been. And then now we were paying, I think the group, each two people to a room was what, $3,300?
It was over $3,300 for two people for each one.
Yeah. So
and that was the changes with that is that it was table service was gone, so just quick service dining. We were included with a park hopper, so that was the bonus.
Yep. And we are now a moderate resort,
right,
so that is a bonus as well.
All the rooms got upgraded from the value to the moderate then.
Yeah, so I'm not sure, I mean, we had a great deal scheduled ahead, but that's something to keep in mind. When you do this, try and kind of have a game plan before you start phoning, because things are just disappearing quickly. We had it on our computer and we were going to try and book it because she couldn't find it, and then it disappeared off our computer as well, because things were just moving so quickly.
And part of the reason they were moving so quickly is because we were just pushing our vacation back 1 week. And the reason we did that is because for WestJet, they would only authorize us to make changes for a fee at this point 14 days from our original departure date.
Yeah, actually I think that was if they canceled it. It was 14 days.
Okay, so then if it was canceled, then it was 14 days. So we were trying to use that rule of thumb to try to rebook and reschedule the vacation then.
Yeah, because we were hoping that the advisory would show up on WestJet, and then we would not have to be out any money for that as well. So after we booked that, I think it wasn't until Friday morning that WestJet advised us that there is a travel advisory and we could now reschedule without a penalty.
So basically that saved us the WestJet fees. with Disney, they didn't, I'm not going to say they didn't honor the original plan, it wasn't available anymore. So that's why we switched and we got that extra. But with WestJet, until that there was an official advisory from WestJet themselves, they wouldn't switch without a fee.
And then we did realize that some of us had work insurance, trip cancellation insurance, and again, that was all because we are from Canada. It didn't matter what any advisories were in the States. It had to be the Canadian government issuing a warning not to travel to the States. So at this point, because we changed our Disney plans before Canada ever issued this advisory, and I still don't even know if it is out there yet, but because we did that, our trip cancellation insurance would not cover anything. So basically, that's something to really check with your trip cancellation insurance. At what point are you allowed to cancel, that they will cover the difference, and what you need to have to prove that you need to cancel.
Now the problem with our group benefits is that we can't make any changes until they officially put out these advisories and cancellations. If you do anything beforehand, then you're on the hook for it yourself.
Yeah.
You have to pay for it yourself.
So if we would have waited, we would have been covered, except the only thing is all the reservations would have been gone. I'm not sure what would have happened. So if we would have had to choose our flight within 7 to 14 days, and then there might not be any Disney plans available that were in the same budget that we were used to.
Right. So it basically ended up being that the Wednesday night we started activating on this and calling Disney and everything. It was about 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. It wasn't until about 11:30 when we got off the phone with Disney and had all the changes done for the additional fees. Now you have to keep in mind we've lost, which is very little, but we lost all of our fast passes. We lost all of our dining reservations, so we had to rebook that, and the time frame we have to rebook that was from another 7 days before departure. So we only had 7 days to get all the whatever we wanted back.
Yeah, so that's something to keep in mind, because we were also not sure, should we change our plans, or should we go and take a risk? So you have to weigh out the fact of, you have all these fast passes and reservations booked, and what will you get then? So that night we stayed up later booking what fast passes we could get. I think really the only thing that we were really disappointed we couldn't get was Flight of Passage and Slinky Dog Dash that we had.
Originally, it was going to be the group of us there for 7 days. So we had 2 days at Animal Kingdom that we actually, 60 days out, had 2 fast passes for Flight of Passage.
Yeah, we were pretty lucky.
We were lucky to get 2 of them. And then we had 1 Slinky Dog, because we were only going to Hollywood Studios one day, because we were a little scared about how Hollywood Studios would be with Galaxy's Edge and everything, because when the time of our fast passes, I think that's when it was announced that the opening date was coming out. So.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't too bad, we got lucky, but then we did check the next day as well, and everything was gone. So that's something to consider as well. I know depending on how fast you make your change with Disney, you may not get fast passes, but we have tried today and made some, so we keep checking, and we got a second Navi River. So they are popping up. We did get BR guests dinner or lunch reservations for a quick service, so things are starting to pop up as we're going along. So it looks promising, as long as the weather still holds out and there's no new hurricanes coming the following week. I think we're all good this time.
It looks that we've got everything situated. It's I wouldn't say we had the perfect Disney vacation lined up for us.
Yeah.
But our group pretty much got everything back, that it's going to be relaxed, enjoyable Disney vacation, getting the most out of it. We're going to try to do either a rope drop or end of day for Flight of Passage, and hopefully to get on that at least once.
Yeah, and the other thing that you will lose out on is if you book your Mickey's Scary Halloween, Not So Scary Halloween Party. Those tickets are non-refundable. You will be out those if you book them and they're canceled. That's something to keep in mind. So this time we're not actually going to book it until maybe that night or a day before, when we know what the weather's going to be like.
We'll have 2 options. Mickey's Not So Scary, the closer it gets to Halloween. the more days that they actually have. So when we're there, I believe they're going to have it on the Sunday, the Tuesday, and the Friday.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to cash in on one of those days, but we'll wait to see what the weather's like a little closer. Obviously, you try to do that on a non-rainy day, but we'll see.
Yep. And so everything's worked out with our flight. They've changed the dates. We're all set now, and so we just wanted to share our experience of what you might be getting into when should a hurricane happen while your trips are planned. The things to think about.
I hope that everybody is well stocked and it's not going to be as bad as what they say it is. And we'll see you down in Florida.